Saka zvada kuita panapa. Ndaona ndiyani kana kumanya. Mese unogona? Aiwa ndiyani kana kumanya zviri fast chaiyo. Simudzai maoko.
Imi.
Ani? Ani? Unonzani? Iwe? Wala chinogona mayo kura munhu wese panapa. Sure. Right. Anoti number 1 pakumanya. Anopuwa basket rake. Egari 1, mabanana enyu, maorange, maapple. Saka tikutanga kubva panapa. Kumabva panapa kusvika kune muti uyo muombe uyu. Hanzi. Saka vese vanoda kumhanya vese vanozvitemba ndokuti muise line panapa. Yamirai muline so. Padhuze nepadhuze. Straight line. Saka ninda kutakura basket rangu iri. Ndanorisa uko. Pamwe pano mese kusvika hanzi. Anotanga kusvika ndiye anopiwa chii? Basket. Saka ninda kuenda ndakufana kutungamira.
When you realize your family is all of humanity, that's Ubuntu. When you want more peace and unity in your community, that's Ubuntu. When you love and respect I have for you, it's the same you have for me, that's Ubuntu. Tell all the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. We sing again. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Yeah, man. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Go on.
Naam, ni wakati wa moyo wa utu, Ubuntu, kuwaguza watu wote wa dunia.
The world is facing numerous challenges today, such as wars, hunger, and diseases that are negatively impacting people around the globe. Despite the many solutions that have been tried without success, there seems to be only one solution, an old African practice that upholds the principle of Ubuntu. I am because we are. Pato Banton, aka Brother Friend, an internationally renowned reggae legend, and his wife Antoinette Rootsdawtah, a world-renowned reggae keyboard player and vocalist, venture on a mission from the United States of America to Africa. The duo were inspired by a friend to journey to Africa, placed in order to document and share with the world how Ubuntu is practiced in 10 different African countries, as well as how this philosophy is an invitation globally in solving current and future world problems.
The spirit of Ubuntu.
I am Mary Wanjiru Mwaniki Kirika. I am the founder of this school called St. John's. I'm an educationist. I've been in education for many years. And so I developed that passion of offering education to all, because initially I was a headmistress of a school where I was not able to give services to the vulnerable, to the disadvantaged. I looked for a portion of land and requested God to allow me to put up a school where I would be able to support other children. And by the grace of God, I was able to put up St. John's, and it has helped very many students. For me to develop this passion of starting a school, I realized that many students were not able to access education even in public schools, because some come from very hard, challenging background, like where our school is situated. I realized that even when they are given education in public schools, there are challenges of where they come from, hunger, and the normal basic things that they require. I put up a school where I would be able to give whatever services I can be able to give. This St. John's, I developed it, I established it, and we've done national exams, but the key word is that we are not supported by the government at all. I've put it up, this infrastructure, the classrooms, neither the textbooks do we get from the ministry. What we do, we look for friends who can support. Like here, we have mixed up children who can pay little amount that cater for the salaries for the teachers, and now those who cannot, we support them. For me, the philosophy of Ubuntu means being there for other people, service to humanity, giving yourself for other people, living not only for yourself, but for the society, for the people around you, reaching out. With Ubuntu, you reach out to those that have lost hope, but through Ubuntu, they are able to move on. They are encouraged. They are told there is much that we can achieve when we are there for each other. Through Ubuntu, I believe many lives have been changed, and we are part of the system that is benefiting from Ubuntu, because when we talk about touching the lives of young people, touching the lives of the parents, we believe that Ubuntu is there for humanity, and we hope it will continue to touch the lives of so many in Africa and the world.
My name is Dorcas Karanja, and in Lapid, I am a facilitator of the Lapid sessions. I'm a mentor as well as a certified professional coach. So Lapid is structured in 3 ways. There's the whole experience takes a year, and it's split into 3 pillars. So the first pillar is the lead self pillar, and then when a young leader graduates from the lead self pillar, they move to the lead marketplace and lead Africa. And the reason why is because you have to have a sense of understanding of how to lead yourself before you can then move on to saying that you're a leader in the marketplace, and then beyond that, offering solutions that are beyond the scope of influence that you're used to, which now becomes Africa.
To me, Ubuntu is recognizing that you need to heal first, heal, and then you can be fully equipped to heal the next generation. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
When the leaders came into the program, they never expected it to be as dynamic as they find it, because it's, it develops the young leader in very many aspects of who they are through the different activities that they do in the sessions. Sessions that help them develop a sense of self, a sense of the identity, a sense of what the marketplace looks like, what's expected of them. They do this in community and individually. So they attend sessions, they have in-class sessions, they have community-based activities. One of the things that the leaders do is they identify a project which they work together in as a team to identify an issue on the ground in the community, and then they come up with a solution to solve it and do it as a team.
To me, Ubuntu means being a pillar, a stronghold for the people that come after you.
Once a young leader goes through the program, they're given the opportunity to come back and serve the rest of the young leaders who come in. And so what happens there is that they now see it not from the perspective of going through the program, but the perspective of giving back, the perspective of what it means to lead as a servant. I mean, can you do something without being paid for it? Is it something? Do you only lead when someone else is looking at you? Do you only lead when you're making money from it? Are you a leader wherever you go and in whatever you do, whether or not you're being paid?
To me, Ubuntu is paving way for the future generation without expecting anything in return.
No matter how individualistic you want to be, the fact is that no man is an island. You did not just appear on earth. You were born through a human being. You exist within an ecosystem. And if you think about it, everything we do for others. The way we are endowed, our gifts, our skills, they're for others. There's an African proverb that says, a tree does not give shade to itself. It gives shade to others.
To me, Ubuntu means being there for the community and standing for everything to do with humanity. Being there for one another as a people and as a human race.
The core mandate of Lapid is to raise young leaders for Africa and to ignite prowess. And what that means is that there's a spark in every leader. There's abilities they have, there's skills they have. They just need to bring them to the fore enough to have the confidence to take them out into the world.
Pato and Antoinette traveled 180 kilometers east of Nairobi to a village in Kitui. One of the ways in which Ubuntu is practiced in Kenya is through communal living. In such community-based organizations such as Compassion Teenage Mothers, everyone is considered a member of the community family, and everyone has a role to play in the family's welfare.
When we took the journey to Kitui County in Kenya, I had no idea what to expect. It was a long, rough drive, and I knew that it was a small village. There was no way around it. We tried booking aeroplanes, we tried getting them to us, but we had to go to them to actually experience their environment. And when we got there, I was moved to the depth of my soul by the amount of people that came out to welcome us and greet us with singing and dancing and screaming, from young children to the elderly. Everybody was there to greet us, and I just felt as though I was at home.
This was like Africa coming home. For anybody from African diaspora, this is what you would like to see when you arrive in Africa. Your fellow brothers and sisters in the brightest colors, laughing and singing and dancing. It was like a welcome home. That is the most amazing feeling that you could feel when you come back to Africa. Welcome home, my brothers and my sisters.
My name is Lillian Muniva James. I'm the founder of Compassion Teenage Mothers that was started back in 2016. What inspired me was seeing the girls suffering. Myself, I was a teenage mother, and what I went through, people had to give me their shoulders for me to lean on, and also for me to step on them so that I could see the world. And when I got successful in life, I needed to give back to the community. And by doing that, it gives me fulfillment and happiness. The beauty is when you see a child smiling because you've rescued them, because our aim is to rescue, educate, and empower the girl child. 75% of them have gone through defilement. And this has been caused by either somebody who is close to them. Because of poverty, the girls will get into the trap very fast. And this person will do all this and then run away. They will not see them again. And then this girl is left with a baby. In my culture, as a girl, when you are pregnant, that is a disgrace to your family. And in most cases, your father will not educate you. Even your mom, sometimes you can be chased out of that home because your mom could be chased out of that home because you're pregnant. So, and sometimes the mamas will decide not to be chased away from home, and then this girl has to run away from home. And that's when we get these reports from the local authorities, from the community health workers, so they will give me a call. There is a girl who is in the streets, she's been raped, she's been done all these kind of sorts. Once we rescue them, now we start the journey with them. For our teenage mothers, because they've been sexually abused, one thing that we do is that we try to our level best to see how we can heal the trauma. And one way of healing the trauma is through singing. We sing together. We forget about our problems. When we sing together, there is the common humanity. That yes, there is suffering, we've all suffered, but we have a sense that at least we can smile because we are alive. So the Ubuntu spirit is applied in that form. And once that is done, now we come here. We are in this physical body that needs to feed. So we go to the soil. Okay, this happened. So now we have to train them on how they're supposed to kind of treat themselves. And one way that we do is through sex education. We have both preventive and interventive measures in our community. And these preventive measures, we carried them in the schools where our girls are schooling. 20% of the teenage mothers that we are serving are HIV positive. So we also promote family planning. They don't have a family, but they have to use contraceptive because they are sexually active. And this one, now we work in conjunction or in collaboration with the health facilities where they usually go for the antenatal and prenatal clinic. Ubuntu in my community means humanity, where we share whatever we have, whether little or much. We are all connected by that spirit, that whatever I have, it is mine, yes, but I'm kind of propelled to help the other people to raise up to where I am. I apply the spirit of Ubuntu or the principle of Ubuntu just by showing up to my community and showing up to these girls when they are in need. Just being there, first being there, listening to them, giving them a shoulder to lean on, and also a shoulder to cry on when they need to cry. Crying with them because I was where they are. And another way that I apply the Ubuntu spirit is even feeding and cooking and eating with them. I give them somewhere to lay their head, give them some counseling. I'm a therapist by profession, give them some counseling as I look for somebody who can stay with them. If everybody had a word of compassion to their neighbors or even to their next person who they are, we will not have the fights that we have. We will not even have corruption. And even the children who are suffering in the streets, they will have some houses for them to rest on. I am alive because you are alive. I am because you are. And because I am, you are.
Rwanda, the land of 1,000 hills. A country of breathtaking beauty with verdant rolling hills, shimmering lakes, and misty jungle forests. Apart from the clean cities, the beautiful buildings, Rwanda is also a land of remarkable resilience and hope. A place where people have overcome the horrors of the past with grace, strength, and determination. Today, Rwanda is a vibrant and welcoming nation where the spirit of unity and reconciliation is felt throughout the land.
When we got to Rwanda, I cannot believe this story. This woman is 3 generations refugees. Grandparents, her parents, and herself. After living abroad everywhere else, she decided she had to come back home to sit there and develop her own country. When we got to her school, I thought I was in Laguna Beach, Orange County of California. I have never seen a more bright and beautiful school, so progressive. The teachers are international, the students are international. The level of excellence and the education that they're providing these schools is top notch, even better than in America. Coming from a woman who was left, who had absolutely no home.
I was born in Kenya to refugee parents. My parents fled as young children, fled Rwanda in 1959. Around 1959, there was a civil unrest and a genocide at that time. And so my grandfather both my grandfathers and their families left Rwanda in 1959 and fled to Uganda. My paternal grandparents were in a refugee camp, and then they raised their children in exile, both my parents' families. My parents then left their families in Uganda and fled to Kenya and started working there as teachers. And that's where they met, and that's where they got married, and that's where I initially grew up, maybe until I was about 5 or 6. Then we moved back to Uganda, and we stayed in exile in Uganda until 1994 and the end of the genocide in Rwanda. When the genocide in Rwanda ended, then we moved back to Rwanda. So growing up and trying to embrace my identity, I wanted to be good. I wanted to understand who I was. And in that, I wanted to contribute something. In a sense, I felt that I was privileged to access a high-quality education. But I always knew that I needed to do something to contribute, because otherwise I then become one of the helpless Africans, right? And that was also inspired by my mother, because she was an entrepreneur. And so I've always known that the best way is to start something that empowers others, and that way I'm a part of the solution and the nation building and the transformation and the things that we want to see improve and heal in Africa. And so I thought, you know what, there's going to be women out there that need a partner that can work with them, a school where they are engaged, they are supported, and they're not closed out from the life of their children. And that's how the idea of Discovery came. A school that would serve the very youngest children from ages 1 up until 11, but it started with the very young ones because that's the foundation. So in about 6 years, we've grown from 2 students, my children, to 360. They pay tuition. We provide discounts for East African citizens, and we also have a full ride scholarship program for a few children from the community who would not be able to afford to come here at all. Everything has to be provided, and sometimes we have to provide food to the family as well. We make sure that they dress up like the other students. We buy them clothes, make sure they have their school photography day, and we also do not identify them as the children who are on the scholarship program, because the goal is that they would access this education that will change their lives, and they will just be a part of the community. For me personally, oǒ'boǒntoō is about love. It's about loving your neighbor, not in a fluffy way, but in a sense that what you feel, they feel, and that everybody has a story that matters, and that together we can bring healing to each other. That's what it really means to me. It also means that together we can become the best versions of ourselves, that I can be there for others to help them be the best versions of themselves, and they can be there for me so that I can be the best version of myself, and that individually we're always less, and together we're exponentially more.
Burundi, also known as the Heart of Africa, is a country of stunning natural beauty and rich cultural heritage. From the glittering waters of Lake Tanganyika to the lush green mountains that surround it, Burundi is a land of breathtaking landscapes and picturesque beauty. The warmth and hospitality of its people, with their colorful dress and vibrant music, is matched only by their resilience and spirit of solidarity. Despite the many challenges it has faced in its history, Burundi remains a place of unyielding hope and optimism, where the beauty of natural world is mirrored in the generosity and kindness of its people. The spirit of Ubuntu lives in Burundi.
My name is Deo Gracias Nigizonkiza, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Village Health Works. I was born very poor, like so many people in this country. That is one of the poorest countries on earth. And the poor people, like those who are in rural areas, where there's no access to education, no access to health care. Those people who are in these mountains are literally treated like subhumans because they are poor. They don't have the basic needs. And so I came here for the first time after 11 years in the United States. I knew that this country had suffered so much, but what I saw with my own eyes was so heartbreaking that I could no longer function, just like, forget about it. I'm going back to the United States and home and be there and forget about what was going to happen. I was traveling on my student loans. I had no money. I didn't have anyone really who could say, okay, I will give you money to start there. I saw so many patients in the hospitals, both sides, Hutus and Tutsis, men and women, suffering, equally suffering. So the community members got together. We got this land from the government. Community members said, no issues around here. And that was not enough. I said, listen, I have no money. You are going to make bricks. You are going to dig. And they laid the foundation. It took a year of construction before opening our little clinic. So that history, that kind of community engagement, former enemies who became collaborators and friends, was so inspiring that I saw the mission of this organization cannot be taken away by anyone other than the community themselves. And because they understood the value of this mission, they embraced it, they owned it, and they have been trying to make things happen. But we also have been extremely lucky, particularly myself, to make so many wonderful friends in the United States who jumped in to help. Financial support, coming here to share the resources, the brain and teaching and all that. So that has been quite remarkable. And we started with the health, but when we open, we start seeing patients. Many of them mothers with children who are suffering from malnutrition. And we have to integrate food security program, nutrition, so that we can stop these problems happening in these communities, in a country of farmers, in a country where we have land, where we have rain, where we have this beautiful sun. So that really happened. Then education, key, because some of the issues that we see in the clinic have to do with the lack of education based on critical thinking. So this is why we have this holistic approach, food security, health, education, and the poor people, trying really to teach them some livelihood skills so that they can actually do, for example, sewing, so that we have beautiful fabrics here in this country, and they can make bags and people can buy them. They can have some of the money to make sure that their families are not dirt poor. So the goal of this organization is really to be a center of excellence in healing and teaching and working together again with community members. We started with a clinic. We have 50 beds in our inpatient ward. We have outpatient. About 200 patients every day come here for consultation, for medical care. And now we are building the first hospital of its kind, the state-of-the-art in this country, focusing on maternal health and pediatrics. We have today 200 community health workers supporting, helping patients who who don't have to come here to the clinic to get medications, such as HIV patients, TB patients, also prenatal care program to help mothers who are at a risk of complications of pregnancy. When you hear someone say Ubuntu, Gira Ubuntu, what it means, what comes into my mind, compassion, empathy, caring for someone else, respect. That is the meaning, and that is a reflection also of what we are doing right here. It's the foundation.
Uganda, rich in history and steeped in tradition. Uganda is a country that captures the heart and imagination, leaving indelible memories that last a lifetime. Uganda is also known as the Pearl of Africa, a land of warm hospitality and boundless energy, where the vibrancy of its culture is reflected in the colorful clothing, music, and dance of its people. Here at Grace Villa, the spirit of Ubuntu lives.
My name is Ruth Kendeje Ndiabahika. I'm the founder and the executive director of an organization called Grace Villa Kabale. Well, first of all, I am from the region. I'm a Muchega, I'm the name of my tribe. Both my parents are from the region. So this is home. And but I did not grow up here. I grew up I had a nomadic kind of childhood. My parents are both reverends, priests in the Anglican Church of Uganda. And when you are a child of the clergy, you learn about moving around quite a bit because you go wherever the bishop sends you. So even though I didn't grow up here, I always felt really, really, really close to home. My parents made sure that wherever we were, we knew where we were from. So one day I watched a documentary called Invisible Children that depicted atrocities by a rebel named Joseph Kony upon his own people in northern Uganda. And he would abduct kids to put in his army. So the girls would become wives, while the boys would become soldiers. I was sad, all these emotions. So in the end, we went to the back of the DVD and got the contact of the people who made it and got in touch. And it was a group called the Invisible Children. So it made me more aware of something that was happening in my own country. And I just said, what can I do to help? So I got involved. And in the end, we became representatives of Invisible Children on the East Coast. And I realized what I wanted to do. And I think it's a gift to figure out what you want to do. And what I wanted to do was do something for our children, I wanted to focus on our kids. So I started coming home for holidays, and they were now intentional holidays, where I would go to the north, go to volunteer in orphanages. The north is where the war was. So I started volunteering as a psychologist in Gulu. And then I would then I realized, it was very tough work, but I liked doing it. It sounds a bit odd, but I liked doing it. I felt fulfilled doing it. I decided to move home. And that's how I came up with a model of opening a home, a beautiful home, beautiful in terms of being very warm and loving, not being huge, with me there, physically there, and I wanted it to be for girls. I grew up in a happy home. I love my parents, I love my brother and my sister, my best friend. And I know that a lot of why I am who I am is because of my family. So I wanted to give that to kids who didn't have in the best way I could. So the kids know they're loved. They know beyond doubt that I love them and that people love them because they're seeing love in action. We don't have any funding from an umbrella organization. So that's awful in terms of us constantly struggling for money, but good because it's made us creative and it's made the kids appreciate every bit that they get. And it's made them also grow up with that spirit of wanting to give the little that they have to others. To me, Ubuntu is our own ethos. Our motto at home is "We rise by lifting others," and that's what I'm wearing. So our hoodie, what it says. One of my greatest surprises when I came to Kabale was finding Ubuntu right here. People just coming in to help. People coming in to help financially or in kind, or bringing whatever gifts they have and sharing them with us. We actually even have some kids out of the country on scholarship in different universities around the world. I'm also seeing, I didn't mention this, Chirabo, who is in ALU. She collected all her pocket money because she actually works. So she's very hardworking. She's the vice president of the college. She works in the cafeteria and saves all her money, and came home last holiday and came with enough money to buy us a plot of land. So she's still in college, in her second year, vice president, working hard, and she actually bought us an acre of land in Kabale. Because she said, our home needs food, we don't have enough land to cultivate, so here is, she said, this is for my family. So I'm just seeing what they're doing now as kids, and seeing they start little and just buying you a bracelet, earrings, going into the community, helping and wanting the best for their siblings here. The girl who's in college is not going to live here for much longer. But then she's still thinking about the future kids who come to live in this home. So what more, display of Ubuntu? I mean, I can't think of a better display of Ubuntu than what I'm seeing here in this home. And it just gives me so much hope for the future of our country and of our continent and of the world. To me, Ubuntu is our own ethos. Okay, if I were to tell the world about Ubuntu, I would say we rise by lifting others.
Ghana, known as the gateway to West Africa, is a country of vibrant culture, incredible diversity, and remarkable resilience. This is a land that will capture your heart and stir your soul. The people of Ghana, with their infectious smiles, are eager to welcome visitors and share their culture and traditions. Here in Ghana, the spirit of Ubuntu lives.
My name is Patrick Iwa. I'm the founder and president of Ashesi University in Ghana. The inspiration for Ashesi University came at a time when I was working at Microsoft Corporation, and my first child was born. My son was born, and he was born shortly after crises in Rwanda and Somalia. So there was a lot of negative news coming out of Africa. And I remember looking at this child and thinking, there needs to be a different story coming out of Africa for the sake of future generations like him. And people like me who had so many opportunities should be part of creating that new future on the continent. And so that was really sort of the trigger for me to think about changing my career from what I was doing in software development to doing something with development in Africa. I considered starting a software company. Decided not to do that because I realized that the students who were studying computer science here in Ghana were not being educated at the level that I would need to be able to recruit a strong workforce. And ultimately decided that higher education was the thing to do because higher education at the time in Ghana it comprised of only 5% of college age would get a chance to go to college. And so almost by definition, the people who go through universities here become the leaders of our country. They're the ones who are in positions of influence, both in the public sector and the private sector, when you fast forward 20 years after they've completed college. And so I decided if I can engage with that and demonstrate a new way of teaching and learning that is specifically focused on preparing ethical enterprising, entrepreneurial leaders on the continent, then we can make a change in the long term.
One of the things that I was very impressed to see was them majoring in future technologies. They were creating their own drones, their own electronic equipment.
We are very proud of the fact that our students are engaging real-life problems, right? And one of the things that we've done here is that when students come here in their first year, they take a course called Foundations of Design and Entrepreneurship. And in that course, the first semester, they go out and identify problems that are worth solving. And then they go through a process of designing solutions to the problems that they've identified and prototyping those solutions. And the hope is that we end up with graduates, alumni who are out there who really truly are problem solvers and are not afraid of problems and are very entrepreneuring in tackling those challenges. One way, I think a great way to describe what Ubuntu means to me, to us at Ashesi, are the words of a student here. She's a sophomore, she's a second-year student, who mentioned to one of our executives that when she came to Ashesi, it was the first time in her life where she didn't feel like a refugee. One of the things that we need to do better in Africa, but I think globally as well, is we need to be more connected, right? We need to soften borders. And so this idea of Ubuntu not being only about your immediate circle of friends or your family or even your country, but really seeing that we're all inhabiting the same space in the universe at the same time. We're really in this together, right? This planet, I mean, this is our home. You know, space is cold and alien to us, and we'll go explore it, but this is home, and the people who live here with us are our family. This is a global family, and I think it's very important that we all recognize this and let it guide how we engage with each other on the continent, but also globally.
Nigeria, the giant of Africa, is a country of remarkable diversity, cultural richness, and natural beauty. From the bustling cities of Lagos and Abuja to the idyllic beaches of Lagos and Calabar, Nigeria is a land of incredible contrasts. Conflict is a major problem in many parts of the world, and Ubuntu can be an effective tool for addressing it. As seen in the work of Urantia Peace Initiative, the philosophy of Ubuntu emphasizes the importance of empathy and compassion, which can help to resolve conflicts peacefully.
Urantia Peace Initiative in Nigeria is a new idea and an ideal created by a brother named Emeka. He sees the problems in his community. He sees some of the divisions and some of the infighting that is going on in his local community. And he has a vision of working towards bridging those divides, bringing people together, bringing his community together, showing them what they have in common, and basically promoting the ethos of peace and love. It's not a big project yet, but we support him in his efforts to make this dream a reality.
My name is Emeka. I am the president of the Urantia Peace Initiative. In the year 2001, that was the time that I got to see the Urantia book for the first time on the internet. I saw that this was the truth. I saw that this was indeed a revelation, and then I started reading the book. A few years later, it became my dream to have everybody read the book. And what interested me so much about the book was that it actually teaches that we are all brothers and sisters because God is our Father. And that is what I think that humanity needs most at this time. So, being a Nigerian also, having lived for 55 years now, I have seen when things were a bit peaceful. And now I have seen how bad the situation is, and I have come to the conclusion that it is because we do not see ourselves as one. And so I realized that I had to do something to let people know that despite your tribe, your geographical location, we are all brothers and sisters. I think it will help bring peace to Nigeria in particular and the world at large. I believe our effort at the Urantia Peace Initiative will quickly bring peace in Nigeria. You know, I tell people, you did not determine which tribe you were born in. The only thing that is constant is that we are human beings. I had a Christian background. I could have been born by Muslims, and then that would have made me a Muslim. I could have been born by Hausa parents. That would have made me an Hausa, not an Igbo. But the fact is, I was born by a human being, just like every other human being was born by a human being. And so that is one thing we have in common, humanity. There is no point telling people to prepare to go to heaven, that if they should try not to offend God so that God will accept them in heaven, when you cannot teach them how they can love one another, how they can love the next human being. Jesus is my model. The life that Jesus lived on earth is such a beautiful life. It's something that when you start applying it, and then you're actually applying the principles of Ubuntu. When you try to see the next person, the next human being as your brother, as a family, you're going to treat them well. And that in itself is the principle of Ubuntu. That in itself is the principle that Jesus practiced. That was the way he dealt with everybody. So that is how I am, or we in the Urantia Peace Initiative is applying that same principle in our relations to other people.
My name is Chief Abimbola Aboderin. The company called Icon Initiative and Promotion Limited. They're the company that owns one of my businesses, like the book that I wrote on the democracy, on the Told Story of June 12th. Also the Icon Farm, other things I do. Okay, I have another company called Guru Magazine, which is my initiative, and I'm also the chairman and CEO of that too. The magazine called Guru. It's a magazine that's one of my ideas in life, to be able to showcase what we have so that our youth can learn from it. Media is in the family. You got, if you know the history of Nigeria, The Punch is the most number one paper in Nigeria today. It was by my family. So I believe that the way to get across to people is by going to the media. Let people read. You know, there's a lot of people who have been to school. Let them see exactly the history, what really happened, the year 12, and how we did so much to make it happen. How we raised money for the late MK Abiola. Remember that he was a very wealthy man. You know, so I believe that if people read it, they will know exactly, because it is the Democracy Day in Nigeria. It's June 12th now, which I'm very happy. That is finally people are going to know what is June 12th all about. I'm the only one that knows about it.
So this is the movers, the shakers, the best of Africa has to offer.
Well, Ubuntu means what I always be talking about being very, very, very compassionate about other human beings, and be thinking of how do I create jobs for my people, you know, not just having money. This is what I have. I make sure that it create jobs for people to work, and then people I need, I do a little assistance what I can do in my own little way, And I'm against injustice. Anything that is injustice, I will speak out. I'm not afraid of anybody, because love, it's all about. If you love yourself, love your fellow human beings. Make sure that whatever you can do it for your fellow human beings. So the future of the Ubuntu is very bright. But I'm glad it started from somewhere now. We must push it to the world. People see it. The spirit of love. Even the white and black, they all belong to God. If you have love, spread it all over the world.
My name is Muse Hailu. Currently, I have a privilege of serving as Director of Global Partnership and also representing the African Union and United Nations, and also a Regional Director for Africa for United Religions Initiative. It's an international grassroots interfaith organization which is working to promote daily enduring interfaith cooperation, to end religiously motivated violence, and to promote a culture of peace, justice, and healing for the earth and all living beings. And we have members in 111 countries. It's a grassroots movement working to promote a culture of peace, and also working on the spirit of the Golden Rule and Ubuntu. In 2005, we established here in Ethiopia the first of its kind, an interfaith organization which we call it a cooperation circle, a member of United Religion Initiative. Everything in the URI, it's so beautiful. It's all about circles, 360 degree, no hierarchy. We all are in that circle. So it's a cooperation circle of United Religion Initiative. It's called Interfaith Peace Building Initiative, established by people from different faith tradition and culture here in Ethiopia. And we came up with the idea of promoting peaceful coexistence, harmony, and interreligious peaceful cohabitation through the teaching of the Golden Rule. So with that in mind, we came up with the Golden Rule Day. Many countries adopted it, and as we speak, we are already in the process for the United Nations to pass a clear resolution for the Golden Rule Day to be celebrated. And I'm happy to say that's why also we appoint people who are doing extraordinary work on the ground, individuals, organizations, as goodwill ambassador, and of course, our beloved brother Pato Banton and dear sister Antoinette are also, goodwill ambassador of the Golden Rule for the work you have been doing that really help to bring all humanity together. Ubuntu express compassion, reciprocity, that's the Golden Rule, and dignity, harmony, and humanity in the interest of building and maintaining community with justice and mutual caring. And this is what we are missing in building a culture of peace and building trust, and above everything, building right human relationship. There is a difference between saying hello, how are you, how nice, and all that, and building, that's one way to communicate, but building right, I will underline the word right human relationship. That right human relationship is based on mutual respect, based on Ubuntu. I am because of you, not because you follow the same religion, the same philosophy, the same ideology, or you share the same color, or we go to the same faith tradition. No, I recognize you for who you are, not because you look like me. That's a big difference. That's Ubuntu. That's why Ubuntu can be an antidote to most of the challenge we see in the world now, if we go back and live based on this basic philosophy of life. So if we come together and be part of a solution than a problem, we can create a better future. And that's what gives me hope. And I have seen people, young, old, women and men, people from different parts of the world are doing great work. And I believe in humanity. There are so many good people out there doing great work. And if we come together, we can create a better future. And my appeal is, please, let us live based on the teaching of Ubuntu. based on the teaching of the Golden Rule, and have compassion for all life forms. And if we do this, and if we join hands together, it's possible.
Pato and Antoinette traveled 260 kilometers from the capital Addis Ababa to Shashemene, a Rastafarian community that knows, understands, and practices Ubuntu in their daily lives.
In Shashemene, which is a place that Emperor Haile Selassie basically donated to the Africans in the diaspora who wanted to come back to Africa and have a piece of land or a home.
This place has always been on my mind because I do know Sidney Salmon. I know this man from back in New York City many years ago. What I really love about him, here's another one who came from a place of privilege as a Wall Street broker and then deciding to grow his dreads and to sit there and leave his place of privilege in New York City to come all the way to Ethiopia to start rebuilding Shashemene.
My name is Sidney Salmon. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Jamaican Rastafarian Development Community of Shashemene here. I was brought into this organization through my faith as a Rastafarian, coming from the 12th tribe of Israel. And when I came to Ethiopia, the Jamaica Rastafarian Development Community had already been formed. So I saw that there was a connection, me being a Jamaican and a Rastafarian, even though I was living in the States, and then coming to Ethiopia and seeing that the community organization, a community NGO that was registered here, the local NGO. So I felt like it was a sort of destiny for me to be here. So when I came the first time and I left, I had to come back because I felt like I connected.
My name is Leila Mokria. Sister Linda is the coordinator, of which I'm assisting with her some consultancies and helping to set up the social welfare services. Well, the thing about it is repatriation is a dream. It's a journey, you know. It's coming home to Africa. But then when you're in Africa, you have to integrate with what the other Africans are doing. So what JRDC, it embraces the whole community, the Rastafarian community, even though there's different mansions, to try and meet the basic needs of any community. So it's like you need to have shelter, you need to have, you know, just to become empowered and let yourself really shine and be a part of change. You have to first know where you're at and, you know, slowly progress, make sure your family is taken care of, make sure, you know, these basic needs of humans are met. So with the JRDC SWS, our biggest challenge was that, you know, the repatriates were not recognized. It took about 40 years for the people coming home to actually get an ID. And that's the full basic of all basic, to be able to be employed, to be having a home, to, you know, burst out. So the JRDC focuses on trying to help integration, trying to help Ethiopians and the people who are coming home have a foundation to build on, you know? So that's what we're trying to do with the SWS. Their creed or their motto is let the hungry be fed, the naked clothed, the sick be nourished, the elders protected and the infants cared for. So this is all a basic need of any community, and Ubuntu matches that immediately. If we can help each other achieve these things, surely there's no end to where the community, or at least the fruits of repatriation, the fruits meaning the children, will have always a better chance than them that had to struggle come here. And they never have to go through the same struggle.
We're looking to open a grain store, in which we will buy the various types of grains and store them, because we noticed that the prices of things are going up and we have to become grain store, and with that we'll supply each other. And eventually we'll get into groceries and stuff like that, clothing line and stuff like that, and we support each other. A type of like bartering type of system we're getting into now. You produce that, I produce this, you produce that, then we exchange and stuff like that. We sell to the outside community.
In Amharic, there's a saying which goes pretty much what Ubuntu is expressing. It's called so leso medanit no, which means person is the next person's medicine. So we need each other in a sense, you know?
Ubuntu is I am because we are humanity, right? So Ethiopia is like that. Fikarachin, Andenetachin, Emnetachin, Hailachin. That means our love, our faith, our unity. This is what binds us together.
I think this is a platform that, can allow us to learn from each other, learn from West Africa, learn from our neighbors, Kenya, so it's something that binds us all together.
Yeah, well, as a Rastafarian who repatriated home, I see for the future that Ubuntu has a very important role to play, and the future looks bright for Africa, where this is concerned. Shashemene we learn more how to share whilst we're here. Africa's divine destiny is unity. If we unite, as His Imperial Majesty said, when we unite, the whole world will respect us, and they too will become united.
Senegal, the gateway to Africa, is a country of captivating beauty, rich culture, and remarkable warmth. The country's music, art, and literature are celebrated across the world for their passion and creativity. Off the coast of Dakar in Senegal is a place of great historical significance. Having been the largest center of the transatlantic slave trade in West Africa, it is estimated that around 20 million Africans were forced into slavery and shipped across the Atlantic from the island over several centuries. Today, Gore Island is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a haunting reminder of the horrors of slavery. The island is home to several museums and monuments that pay tribute to the millions of slaves who were brutally treated and transported from the island. Visiting Gore Island is a deeply emotional experience that serves as a reminder of the importance of fighting for freedom and justice for all, as well as cultivating the spirit of forgiveness.
In Senegal, we went to see the community at Progressive Divine Wisdom. This is a group of mainly professors, highly intellectual people. They are training young people in not only in Senegal, but around the world. They have studies once a week in their hometown, and then they also have online studies.
I am Mustafa Njai. I belong to the Divine Progressive Wisdom Group of Dakar. And I belong to this group since more than 40 years now. It was created by my father, Musa Ndiaye, and in the first time he created a group of questionings and answerings. And for us, the living concept of Ubuntu is to realize oneself in the concept of God the Supreme. Because God the Supreme is the living God, and in the life we have everything. In the life there is worship, in the life there is prayer, in the life there is service. And the three concepts are necessary for us to grow in the spiritual way.
My name is Hassan Diagne, and I'm a professor in Divine Progressive Wisdom. I think Ubuntu is important, and like I said, more than important, our life depends on Ubuntu.
Humanity is one, and it is for us the concept of Ubuntu. We must work together if we want to go far. It is very important.
My name is Sheikh Mohamedou Bambanjai, but all my friends and my brother call me Tosh because I like reggae music. In Divine Progressive Wisdom, I have to offer my soul. Every night, I pray God to give me the opportunity to share what I am, not what I know. You see? Because in space and time, the law is to know something, to be something, and to do something. And Ubuntu also is to do something. That's why I love Ubuntu.
You have a God in you, the source of all creation. All power is in you. Stand up
and you reveal this power, the power of love with Ubuntu.
I think that the world is in big problems now. The world is very confused. And for me, it is a big opportunity to leave all the living concepts that can lift up humanity to a better world. It is Ubuntu, and it is all the teaching we can learn from our different religions.
My name is Bab Musa. I'm the son of Mustafa Njai, and I'm the grandson of Musa, the initiator of progressive divine wisdom. Yeah. And with my friend Rasul, we created together the website for the GSDP. I know Ubuntu as an operating system because I'm a computer, guy. But yeah, Ubuntu is just, being yourself through others. You get to know who you are through others because, your environment, defines you. If I look at you as myself, and everybody do that, it's going to be a better world. It's necessary to live through the Ubuntu concept. Yeah, it's important. It's the future of the world. Ubuntu!
Zimbabwe, known as the land of Great Zimbabwe, is a country of timeless beauty, fascinating history, and incredible culture. It is home to the majestic Victoria Falls, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Here in Zimbabwe, the spirit of Ubuntu lives.
My name is Moses Machipisa. I'm the Secretary General of the Ubuntu Global Network for the African chapter, and I'm also the co-founder for Chipochashe Junior School. So there are 3 challenges in the community. The first is access to education. So the schools there in Shanje and Dema are very far. The closest school is 7.5 kilometers. That is if the children are using a shortcut to go to school. But when it rains and they can't walk through the path, then the distance can go as much as 8 kilometers to school. So consequently, you find out that most of the children were skipping early childhood education, and they would only start school when they are 8 years, when they could walk the distance. And strongly connected to that, the quality was not the best. The second problem that we had was stunted growth because they don't have their nutritional needs being met. Third challenge that we identified was access to clean water and sanitation. So in the village, there are a lot of shallow wells which people get their drinking water from. So the school started in 2019, and this was as a project, initially with a support from funding support, catalytic funding, for almost a year from a foundation called the Ruben Fernandez Foundation. And we had gotten involved with this foundation through a bridge builder. Her name is Monica Rocha Emelo. So our journey started because we had seen the problem and we had support that was coming through for the project. So on one of the first interventions that we then had was we started off with a bowl to give access to water because that was the immediate need that was in the community. Then the second, we did the fencing. Then we started the school. And what happened was really phenomenal because we started with about 10-12 kids. Then in the next month, there were about 25 kids were coming because this was a real need in the community. Within a month and a half, we had almost 35 kids. So now we are sitting at 100 kids at the school. And not only that, I'm excited to share that we also have a second school where we are piloting which is in another village. So we are still doing it in a small hut, but currently we've got 20 learners there, where we also want, and we managed to acquire land at a place where we want to have the school to grow. So what we are trying to do is to use the school as a place where we can give these values of Ubuntu in the young learners, catch them young. So how we do that is we have integrated it within, the curriculum, in the songs they sing, in everything that they learn at the school. We've embedded the idea of Ubuntu. Even the slogan of the school is "I am because we are," because we want that as the motto for the children to relate to it. Not only that, a lot of schools focus on competition, me being the best as an individual. But what we've done is we've taken a step back and say, how can we develop teaching methodologies that encourage collaboration, right? So how do we get these young people to work together? Ubuntu is a solution to a lot of problems. Because I think with the events that we are seeing in the globe, we can see that the current prevalent individualistic worldview doesn't work. We need a worldview where we focus on how we can collaborate. It's not only nations, but as the globe.
The reggae legend Pato Banton and his wife ended their life-changing experience in South Africa, the Rainbow Nation. South Africa is a land of incredible contrasts and natural wonders. South Africa boasts of a vibrant mix of cultures, languages, and traditions, which have given rise to some of the most creative and dynamic art, music, and literature in the world. From its incredible wildlife to its thriving cities, South Africa is a land of endless possibilities and unforgettable experiences. Like any other country, South Africa is not immune to challenges, but through the work of such organizations such as Ubuntu Army and Ubuntu Pathways, we can say the spirit of Ubuntu is alive in South Africa.
Ubuntu Army in South Africa is a man with a truck. This country has its issues. They're still kind of working out all of their problems, and especially with racial relations. And on this one, it's particularly different because he is an Afrikaner who was born and raised in Africa.
We are all a part of the Ubuntu Army. This is his message. Everyone is a part of the Ubuntu Army. If you believe that I am because we are, we all have the ability to serve in our own unique way. This is not a competition, this is cooperation to go out and do something to improve the situation of other people.
My name is Clint McLean, and I'm a guy with a truck at Ubuntu Army. Learning about Ubuntu, I've spent 52 years in Africa. I've traveled extensively through this continent. I love this continent. This is my continent. I've got nowhere else to go. Apparently I'm Scandinavian in my roots, but actually I'm an African. And literally, I don't care what anyone says about that, that's just what I am. I've been exposed to the democracy of suffering with in the poverty-stricken areas around me, where people who are really poor are constantly struggling for their survival, and they're all in the same vulnerable boat the whole time. And what I see happening there is that this vulnerability breeds a compassion, it breeds a common humanity. They all realize they're in together, so this community forms. It's amazing. Ubuntu is not just about solving world hunger or any sort of great drama. It's about literally seeing each other. It's about accepting your common humanity and acknowledging that, and not walking past, and not constantly ignoring, and not defending and protecting yourself from all the others or all the difficulty out there. It's to allow yourself, it's to give, and that's the compassion, is to give yourself to the wider society, to the wider group of people, no matter who they are, and to just allow them in for a second. And when they allow you back in as well, you have this incredible exchange where they get hope. As a crack addict said to me, his name was Johan, he said to me, I often think about committing suicide. I said, okay. He said, it's usually when I take drugs. He said, but this chat today has given me hope that I can maybe one day have a normal life. And hope is everything. Hope is everything. When you're sitting in poverty, hope is everything. And as all the great leaders and great explorers of the mind and of the spirit have said over the years, everyone's carrying a backpack of trouble. So when you smile at them and you say, hey, how's it going? You help carry that backpack for a split second. And that's what Ubuntu is on a daily basis. I'm not looking to build a big organization. I'm looking to spread Ubuntu. That's all I am. And Ubuntu Army is going to become known because every single human being on this planet is a member of the Ubuntu Army if they choose to be that member. If they choose to step out of their closed offness, out of their separation from the problem, of their separation from people, and they step forward and they say, I'm here. So when you step forward and take one step forward and you go, I'm here to serve, as in, it doesn't even have to be like create a soup kitchen or do something magnificent. It can literally be, I'm going to create an Ubuntu link with 5 people and I'm going to support them and they're going to become my new community. I'm going to have connection. I'm going to have a lack of division. I'm going to feed. You do everything. They're your new family and you actually literally push the planet forward. People love to take the pill, pay the donation, do the online app transaction that absolves them of their responsibility, because it makes it all go away for a second, but it come back. When you're involved in it on the coalface in your own little Ubuntu link, it makes you as a human feel better. It makes you actually feel like you're achieving something, like you've connected. It makes you feel, if you've got depression, it'll lift that. If you've got anxiety, it'll diminish and destroy that. If you've got no love in your life, it'll give you love. And at the same time, it saves our planet. You can't argue with Ubuntu. Ubuntu is it's vetted, it's done, it's easy. Do an Ubuntu link, we're done, we're good. We can go surfing.
Ubuntu Pathways, which was first started as Ubuntu Fund, has now found a way to enhance the quality of living for the people in their local environment. Ubuntu Pathways provides education, a health clinic, a natural garden, and many other services for their community. They truly expound and live and project the spirit of Ubuntu across their community. We really enjoyed our experience with them and learned so much about their grassroots beginnings and how they have grown so rapidly over the years and have provided employment for so many people in their local community too.
My name is Tobani and the last name is Sonke, and I'm working for the organization Ubuntu Pathways. I'm a deputy president of the organization. Now it's 23 years that I've been with the organization. We start basically with the education. We start as early when the child, prenatal, he goes through the clinic, and then after he's actually been born, we do the milestone, monitoring the milestones of development of the child. And then it goes to the early childhood development, and then after the childhood development, he would actually go to the school, and then we monitor the whole life of the child in education. Obviously, and other programs that we actually offer, because it's not only education. In order to perform in education, you need to be healthy. So hence we have a clinic. At the same time, you have to come from a stable home. Therefore, you need to have psychosocial support with the counselors. So that's how we operate. So it's not just education only. It needs that wraparound programs that would ensure that these kids, their lives are being transformed, as well as their community.
Our model is cradle to career, so we start at the clinic with pregnant moms, so that it's prenatal. and then it's postnatal at the clinic. And for that group, they are in the first 1,000 days group. And then when they are at 18 months old, they graduate to the early childhood development program, which is my program. But with all Ubuntu clients, whether you are in school or you are placed at work, we always have that holistic approach. So we don't only look at one aspect, we look at education, we look at health, and we also look at psychosocial. So that is how the school works with the clinic. We have annual screenings with it, which is the health screening, vision screening, hearing screening, dental screening, and we also have well visits, of which the clinic is helping all the Ubuntu scholars in those aspects.
Our approach is very much child-based rather than teaching to a group. As I indicated that the number of teachers, the teacher-learner ratio, we deal with small groups, so to have an impact on the kids. And then one thing that I think that makes us stand apart from the other organization, it's social, we always look at the emotional side of things. The teaching is not only teaching, it's social, emotional learning. That element, I think that's the one that actually makes us stand apart from the other organization. Ubuntu, I can say it's a way of life. When you look at the person as a person, irrespective of his color, his religion, where he comes from, but you see a human being, then whatever you do it to a human being. That it's what it means to me.
I see Ubuntu, the Spirit of Ubuntu philosophy, as not just a progressive way for just Africa, but also for the world because of its principle. Because it says, I am because we are. We all depend on one another. I think there's a mentality that I keep seeing in America and other parts of like, I got mines, now you get yours. And I don't know who's teaching this, and I don't understand this philosophy or this mentality. But for me personally, I believe that I do exist because of other people. There's nothing that I wouldn't be here or be able to travel or be able to continue my music or anything else if it hadn't been for other people. And then now that I see how this philosophy actually works in all these organizations, I'm ready to take it back home and starting it in my own community, you know, with our own projects. Wake up. You're gonna sit there and see Africa is on the rise and is awakening.
In my life, I've grown to value the ideology of the golden rule, to treat other people the way you want to be treated. Another idea that I do my best to share is the idea that we are all God's children, brothers and sisters. When we recognize that there is one God, we automatically realize that everyone is a part of God's creation and one family. And now, I can also add Ubuntu to my list of ideologies that I would like to share and promote around the world. Ubuntu is beautiful. It brings the community together. It allows people to recognize that they cannot enjoy a quality of life without other people. We cannot express ourselves if there's no one to hear us. We cannot be of service if there's no one to serve. So the spirit of Ubuntu, I am because we are, is something that I pray that the whole world will embrace and share and live.
So tell all the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. When we tell them, hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu.
There's something known as Ubuntu. I am because we are. We come together today to renew the ties that make us one. Beyond tribe, beyond community, beyond nation, even beyond the continent.
Naam, ni wakati wa moyo wa Ubuntu kugusa watu wote wa dunia, kwa sababu tu watoto wa Mungu mmoja, jamii moja. Amina.
When you realize your family is all of humanity, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When you want more peace and unity in your community, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When the love and respect I have for you is the same you have for me, that's Ubuntu. All the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When we tell them, hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. It's just that we have life, you know. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Yeah, man. You see, this life is like a school. We gotta learn to live the golden rule, treating our brothers and our sisters how we want to be treated too. Ooh, when I say namaste, the God in me sees the God in you. Jesus said we are all your children and told us to go and spread the good news right now. Ubuntu is incredible, exceptional and ethical, mystical and spiritual, theoretical and practical. In times like this so critical, we need a higher principle to make compassion mutual, make respect reciprocal. When peace becomes intentional and war is unacceptable, our blessings will be plentiful, life will be so wonderful. All for one and one for all people. Can you hear the call? It's time to tell the world about Ubuntu. When you realize your family is all of humanity, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When you want more peace and unity, hey, in your community, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When the love and respect I have for you is the same you have for me, that's Ubuntu. Tell all the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. We sing again. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Yeah, man. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Go on.
Naam, ni wakati wa moyo wa Ubuntu kuwaguza watu wote wa dunia, kwa sababu sote tu watoto wa Mungu mmoja, jamii moja. Amen.